You can take your hat off to the audacity of the designers who created the second-generation Cube. In recent years, few have ventured into such forms. But there is a lot of space inside, both front and rear. But the short-stroke skids of the front seats are still of Asian size. A 2-meter driver lacks their travel. The creators of Cube obviously saved on finishing materials by using deliberately cheap plastic. This is especially noticeable on a used car. The panels are covered with a web of small scratches. Nevertheless, although the car is addressed to poor buyers, the base includes ABS, 2 airbags, power accessories, central locking with remote control, and air conditioning. The designers tried to create a comfortable car for the city, so they mercilessly cut off everything superfluous. It is based on the Nissan microchassis, tuned for the urban speed range. Cube accelerates quite briskly. It is very clearly controlled by the steering wheel, gas, and brake. A high center of gravity is adjacent to a rigid short-stroke suspension, alas, prone to breakdowns on potholes. The main disadvantages appear where the asphalt ends. High bus landing, low ground clearance, poor dynamics after 50 km/h, large windage and drag make the car uncomfortable for long trips. The Nissan Cube was first shown in Japan in 1998. Since 2002, the second-generation model has been produced. A year later, a 7-seater version of the Cube 3, or Cubic, appeared with the base increased by 170 mm. The main difference in powertrains is that the all-wheel drive version is equipped with a 1.5-liter, 109 horsepower, rather than a 1.4-liter, 98 horsepower, engine. Body parts for the Cube at the showdown are very rare, and new ones are not of the rank of the road, and you will have to wait at least a month for them. And yet, in the conditions for which the Cube was created, it has a rational grain, albeit a cubic one. Honda Element. Concept cars, having fulfilled their show functions, as a rule, retire. At best, they take a place in the factory museum. Honda Element is an exception. True, the prototype appeared in 1991, and the production car, only 11 years later. What you can't blame the Honda designers for is the lack of imagination and courage. But the creators of Element set themselves a more difficult task, to build a car that is not only original, but also universal. Flat body panels made it possible, with modest dimensions, to get a huge salon of regular rectangular shape. Large box, large lids, hinged doors. Trunk lid in the best American traditions, from 2 wings. Well, if suddenly the car turned out to be shorter than the luggage, the latter can be transported by removing the large glass hatch at the rear of the roof. In advertising brochures, among the special merits of the Element are 60 options for transforming the cabin. It's impossible to list everything, of course. Here are just a few of them. Lowering all the backs, we get an ottoman. And having expanded the backs of only the rear seats, a wide soft luggage compartment. Raise the backs along the sides, you get a high box with a hard floor. Oh, and 2 cubic meters is not enough for you? The back row can be dismantled and left in the garage. Plastic parts, which, by the way, are difficult to scratch, harmonize well with water-repellent plastic. It is easy to wash, the dream of an extreme tourist, fisherman, hunter. True, with the cross-country ability of the Element, it is not very good SUV to the marrow of bones. Even in the all-wheel drive version, off-road capability is limited by 175 mm ground clearance, light suspension travel and drivetrain capabilities. On the highway, Element is essentially a front-wheel drive car. The rear wheels are connected through a multi-plate clutch in case of front slippage. No downshifts or lockups. Under normal conditions, Honda captivates with light, responsive and informative controls, moderate rolls when maneuvering, good mirrors, and smoothness. Of course, the Element has its drawbacks. Massive A-pillars and a high section of the rear window limit visibility, require getting used to and caution when maneuvering. The engine compartment is without solid protection, and the gas tank, although covered with a metal shield, is the lowest point in the base. The inter-service run is very small, 5,000 miles, 8,000 kilometers. There are Elements with manual and automatic transmissions, front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive, and even more so mechanics, are not particularly favored either overseas or here. In this regard, mainly 2.4i4 WDEX versions of 2002 to 2003 with automatic transmission come to the Russian market for $523,500 to $26,500. Such a car has power steering, ABS, airbags, cruise control, air conditioning, electric mirrors, front power windows, rear door windows do not fall, heated and electrically adjustable front seats. It is curious that there is also a Japanese, right-hand drive element. But in Russia it turns out to be more expensive than the left-hand drive American. That is why cars are brought to us from the USA. In maintenance, Element is a purebred Honda. It requires specific lubricants, high qualifications, and a lot of money. Despite the dullness of the origin of these cars, many Honda services in Moscow do not refuse owners to repair and maintain at their usual rates.